Hello, welcome for another episode, Live from the Heart podcast. I'm very happy today to welcome my husband. Well, we've decided to call each other husband and wife because anyway, we did the ceremony together and with a beautiful priest and priestess from Bali, and we just need to find a way to sign the papers.
Yes.
So welcome, Christian, to my podcast. Welcome, my love. I'm very happy that you're here. Today, we're going to talk about a topic which is very important to us, which is staying focused in life so that you can create the most beautiful reality that you can. And this is actually what we're doing. And we can observe that there is a lot of people who have beautiful dreams and they have trouble finding clarity to really give birth to their dreams and make them actually proper projects and not only dreams. And I invited Christians, especially because together we co-created a beautiful program for free. It's called Refocus Your Life. But also, I witness him every single day being very focused on everything that he wants to work on. And I've never seen someone which is that dedicated to learning and growing and creating. And it's just beautiful to witness it every day. So thank you for being an inspiration.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think especially the last 2 weeks were actually quite difficult for me to concentrate. You saw me like, oh, maybe I should go to a cafe to work from there and to study from there to find some focus. So yeah, interestingly, this was now showing up again that I was struggling to find actual focus. And this is so oftentimes happening, right? When you want to talk about something or you create a program or anything, then suddenly you get this all kind of challenges which are related to this.
Yeah.
At least it's my experience oftentimes like that. And the last 2 weeks, yeah, I was challenging to be more focused.
Can you share a bit about yourself for the people who don't know about you and what you're focusing on?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I created a collective together with two business partners, a Spirit of Rest collective, and we are working with people who want to become breathwork facilitators or who want to learn more about the breath and how to regulate the nervous system. This is one of the big parts of the work that I'm doing. The other part is also that I'm right now studying. I'm studying archetypal pattern analysis, which is all around objective psychology and how there are patterns that influence all of us on a universal level. Doesn't matter which time we lived in, it is a reoccurring themes that we all face in life. So this is a big part of the things that I'm studying, but I'm also studying dream analysis and fairy tale analysis, and that all requires a lot of focus, which is quite difficult in our times nowadays, I think. I don't know how it was 30 years ago, but I imagine it a bit easier.
Yeah. Well, I guess everybody is distracted. There is our own thoughts, and we have not learned how to keep a clear mind. Although quite a lot of us now are into meditation and finding their ground and really having rituals and habits that support having a clearer mind, but it's not that easy. And there is many distractions in the outside world. It can be just friendships or lovers, or some people are addicted to drama, and there's always something happening that they need to take care of, which is more priorities than their projects. And then there is, just random distractions, Netflix and social media, so many things that happen every day. We're just so distracted all the time.
Yeah, the source for distraction can be diverse.
Yeah, I hear a lot from my students and the people following my programs that they can't find time to actually go towards their dreams. And I always smile and I think, well, if you cut off movies and TV shows and social media, you're going to find plenty of time. And then, second level, if you cut off the people that you don't really want to see and that you keep only the people that you really want to see, you're going to have even more time. And things like that. So we're just not used to making choices that are supporting long-term goals. We're kind of in the immediate gratification of something that feels good in the moment, but that actually is not serving the greater vision that we have for our life.
Oh yeah, this theme around instant gratification, I think, is nowadays really, really big. You see that like also in a lot of programs, sometimes it makes sense that a program is, for example, just 2 days, but as soon as it's a few months long, people like there's a resistance of getting into it because it requires like the commitment over a few months, or in my case now, 2 to 3 years of consistently reading and studying. And I'm really, really happy that I took this path, because
It's even a lifetime.
it's even a lifetime for sure. Yeah. But just this official path now that I'm going is up to 3 years.
Yeah, that's a lot. And I can also relate to that because I choose to write books. And when you want to write a book, I mean, it's a project that takes months or years. It's a long format. You're also working on long formats for articles on your websites and things like that. And at this era where everybody just wants to snack a reel, which lasts like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, maximum 90 seconds, it's really a choice to go into depth and to really commit to some topics and go deep into them so that you have something which is more valuable to share, something that you've really been diving into, that you've digested, that you've experienced, that you're embodying, and that you then want to share with the world, not just something that you've read somewhere and then you share it again. It's such a different experience.
Yeah, totally. And what was coming up for me when you were saying, when you were talking about writing a book, I remember how the process that I was observing that was coming from writing a book that was happening to you. It was a lot of like touching the book and then moving around the book, touching the book and really finding your way into the book.
Yeah.
And that's also something that I experienced with, for example, just recently I was reading a really dense, difficult book.
Oh my God.
And it took me such a long time to get actually into the book. I was reading like the index, I was reading the back cover, I was listening to reviews of the book. I tried to find an access point towards this book, and I think this is oftentimes the case.
That was a hard one.
I think this is oftentimes the case when we have difficulties to get into something where we really have difficulties to find our focus. We sometimes really have to let ourselves move around this topic many, many times until we find this access point into this theme.
But it starts with the decision to not give up and really make the space for it. For example, when I write a book, not every day I'm in the mood to write, but I will save space. I will make time for what's really important to me. And in order to do that, it has to be a priority. And for a while, it was not a priority because I was always prioritizing other things like my company and everything that was ongoing for my work instead of really choosing to make it happen. So it starts with a decision. I find it very helpful to find accountability partners, find people that you speak your dreams to. You can have a coach. Also having a coach or a therapist, someone to help you, is really helpful because then the person waits for you. The person will say, hey, did you do it? And if you didn't do it, why? And then you explore why, because maybe you've got many resistance that you can dive into and really explore, because there are parts of you which are finding maybe not safe to move towards this dream, this specific dream. So this is fascinating and it's very important. And do you want to share some tips that you have to refocus?
Maybe one point, even before making the decision, I think there's also something interesting happening because your fantasy already moves towards this idea. So it's really alive inside of you. And I think at this point, it's not only about making the decision to commit yourself to do that, but also committing yourself to just start really playing with this idea in your mind, listening to podcasts around these themes, like really nurturing your fantasy. And then obviously at some point you really have to make the decision to go for it. And that's obviously really important. And your question was around what?
Tips to refocus. What's useful to you?
Well, no, I think two things I already mentioned, like really just playing with the idea in your mind, really nurturing it by listening, getting inspired by other people or books or podcasts and so on. The second thing is then really making the decision, okay, now you will have concrete actions to follow this fantasy that you have. And then there are really, really practical things that you can do. Let's say you really have difficulties to get into it, then try to find space and time which is without any distractions. I think this is, at least for me, key. When I know it's really difficult for me to get into it, I have to create a space where there's no distraction, because as soon as I have my phone next to me and Instagram on it, I know that Instagram will pull me towards it. It's the instant gratification problem.
So you remove Instagram
For
from
example,
your phone.
from my phone, or maybe I place my phone into another room. So this is a really, really practical tip that everyone can do. And I think also the purpose behind it, right? Knowing why you're actually doing it, especially if it's so difficult.
Yeah.
You need a bigger purpose behind it.
Yeah, why you do what you do, or want to do what you want to do, and having a vision for your life. And not only a vision, because not everybody is visual and is able to really see what they want to create, but a feeling about what you want to create, how it's going to make you feel when you're going to show up this way, when you're going to get that degree in psychology, when you're going to have written that book and it's going to be on the shelves of the libraries. How are you going to feel? And nurture that feeling, honor it, choose it. And for me, when we have great desires, it means it's been implanted there in our hearts for a reason. And then we need to choose to honor them. It's really a choice to choose life. It's like, I choose to keep going, and this great desire, I'm going to give it life. And I choose it. And this is super important. And I want to continue on that, because also choosing a surrounding, people who will support that for you, like having a great lover that says, yeah, I believe in you and I believe in your great vision, and I want you to be this version of yourself that go towards your dream and achieve your great vision, is also very important. I think you can do it by yourself, because I did it in the past before I had my husband and my friends and everything, but it was harder when I was alone. I find it easier when I have people around me who share the same values and who also are on that path. Because if the people around you are distracted people, then they're always going to try to pull you away from what's important to you, because it's going to be a reminder for them that they're actually not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also why I sometimes like to go into the cafe to work from there, because I know I had, well, it depends on the cafe, but there are some good cafes here where you have a lot of people working around you, and that is just helping me to also be more focused. Or going to the library and reading there, we don't have a library here, but this would be a really great setting for me.
Yeah. So if it's hard for you to focus at home, find a place that will be easier for you to just keep going and don't give up. A few more things is to have space to observe your thoughts, to not get caught up in your thoughts. And we have a few practices that we share in our program, Refocus Your Life. And you can just dive deeper into them. And there is breath work, there is journaling, there is meditations, there is also EFT, emotional freedom technique, that I love to use. It's called also tapping, and it helps for the emotion to circulate so that you can find your ground again when you've been in an emotional turmoil, or you feel really overwhelmed by what's happening inside of you. You can use these emotions, because emotions are energy in motion, and you can use them as fuel so that you can move towards your dreams.
Yeah, and I think two key things that are happening in this program is, one is really clearing the channels through, for example, doing specific breathing techniques, EFT or journaling, really putting everything down on a paper. And the second thing, because we need this clearance in order to create space to be able to focus on something new, for example. And the second thing is that we also gain more clarity around what it exactly is, what we want to create.
Yeah. There's a question that I'm often asked, and I would like to answer it, is that how do you choose your projects and where do you start when you have multiple ideas and multiple dreams and everything? And I always say, choose what's most alive in you. Because yes, we all have many books inside of us, many programs that we want to create, projects, beautiful things we want to do in our professional and personal lives. But we have to admit that we're humans and we cannot do everything at the same time. But we can do so much in just a few years if we prioritize what's most alive at any time. For example, if I want to write 5 books, and I have many more in my head, I'm going to choose the one that's most exciting right now, that's most alive right now. For example, last year I wrote about money because I had a momentum. I had made a lot of money with my company. I just keep it rolling with the momentum. If I would have said to myself, oh, I'm going to write the money book later is too late because it's not potent anymore. The energy has faded away. I'm not going to remember exactly the anecdotes. I'm not going to be really connected to the topic like I was when I was walking this walk of prosperity to this milestone that I've achieved. You know what I mean? It's you need to choose what's most alive because this is what's going to be the easiest way, the most smooth for you.
And what would you say to someone who would argue, oh, they constantly feel something new alive inside of them?
They're probably distracted. Because, I mean, it depends how much you're doing in a day. But if you're doing too many things or watching too many different things, for example, then it's a distraction too. I mean, of course, I can have 1,000 ideas if I scroll Instagram. But if I just stay in my own space, which I've learned how to do, meaning grounding myself, connecting to the divine, and then clearing my energy space around me and welcoming a fresh inspiration from the source, which I also teach in Refocus Your Life, is just, I know what's most potent. I feel it, you know? And if I'm distracted, if my mind is scattered, if the emotions are all over the place, then it's going to be more difficult to choose.
Yeah, right. It's really easy to get distracted by all kind of ideas, especially if you receive so much input that we nowadays receive through Instagram and everything. There's so much input and everything so it looks so yummy and interesting. And sometimes it's good to isolate yourself from that to really clear the channels and see what is actually really alive inside of you, even though there's no external sources that are influencing you.
Totally. Is there anything you want to add?
Nothing that's coming to my mind right now, no.
Okay. Well, we wanted to keep it short. There is already 1,500 people who joined Refocus Your Life. It's completely free. It's 4 weeks of daily practices, Monday to Friday. Well, you start whenever you want. If you want to do Tuesday to Saturday, you do whatever you want. And every day you get a practice with a video, an audio, with either both of us or just me or just you. And you need to just dedicate a few minutes of focus time so that you can actually come back to yourself and what's truly important for yourself. We created it at the beginning of this year, but you can do it anytime. It's not related to January. You know, it's really anytime when it's good for you to just find your center again, so that you can move forward towards what's really important to you.
Yes. I think there are many great tools in it. Maybe not all of them will resonate with you or click with you, but they are for sure. If you go into it, there will be for sure.
Yeah.
Some of them that will create an aha moment or move you towards a specific direction, which is more aligned with what you really want to create.
Yeah, and that's true what you said, because we share what works for us, but what works for Christian is not necessarily what I choose to do on a daily basis, and vice versa. So you've got multiple exercises and practices, and then you get to choose the ones that resonates with you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can find the links on my website and on both our Instagram link trees. So feel free to reach out to us if you're not finding the link, and enjoy. Have fun with this program. Refocus your life, and please just give life to your dreams, because if they've been put into your heart, there is a reason, and honor them. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it around you to your communities and friends, and you can also give it a review, 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. See you next week.
See you. Bye-bye.